My roommate claimed he was mugged and couldn't pay rent. After some digging, I discovered he faked the whole thing. I should have known something was off the moment he walked in. Tyler stood in the doorway of our apartment, hoodie half-zipped, hair disheveled, limping slightly. He looked like he'd been through a war zone. "Bro," he said, eyes wide, "I just got mugged." I dropped my phone. "What? Where?" "Outside the train station," he said breathlessly, like he had just sprinted home. Guy pulled a knife, took my wallet, phone, everything. I freaked out. I offered to take him to the hospital or the cops, but he waved me off. "I'm okay, just shaken up. I need to lie down." Understandable. I left him alone and even made him dinner later. He barely touched it, muttered something about needing to sleep, and disappeared into his room. It was the first week of the month. Rent was due in 2 days. Tyler and I weren't best friends, but we got along. We met through a housing group online. He was 25, studying part-time and working as a barista. I worked full-time and needed someone to split rent. He seemed decent. We signed a 12-month lease and things were mostly chill. Until that night. The next morning, I checked in on him. He said he was still rattled and staying home from work. Fair. Then came the awkward question. "Hey man, rent's due Friday. You okay to send your half before then?" He looked down and sighed. "Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Since my wallet and phone got stolen, I can't access my banking apps. I need a few days to sort it out." I paused. "Wait, did you call your bank or report the theft?" He looked uncomfortable. "Not yet. I was gonna do it today." "Okay, but shouldn't you report the mugging too? You got robbed at knife point, man." He shrugged. "I don't really want to get the cops involved. You know how they are." Alright, that gave me pause. I get not trusting cops, but it still felt off. Friday came. No payment. Saturday, he said he still couldn't access anything, and that his bank was being weird. Sunday, I asked for an update. He said his mom might send him money, but she's out of town. At that point, I was annoyed. I'd covered extra rent a couple of months back when he was short, and I told him I couldn't keep doing it. He apologized and promised to pay me back next week. By Wednesday, still nothing, and something didn't sit right. So I started digging. First, I called the local police precinct, anonymously. I asked if any reports of muggings had occurred near the station last week. They said no such reports were filed. Okay, maybe he didn't report it. Still weird. Then, I remembered something. Tyler used an old iPhone, and I'd once helped him find my iPhone when he thought he lost it in the couch cushions. So I logged in. Yes, I know, privacy and all, but this guy was lying and I was now covering his rent. Guess where his phone was? Not at the station. Not in a pawn shop. It was in the apartment. Right in his room. Still active. Still online. I knocked on his door. "Hey man, can I talk to you real quick?" He opened it slightly, enough to show his tired face but not his room. "What's up?" I played dumb. "Your phone's showing up as online on Find My iPhone. Did you get a new one already?" He blinked. Yeah. My mom shipped me her old one." So the mugger took your phone and wallet, but your phone's still here?" Silence. Then he said, "Oh, yeah, I guess the mugger dropped it. I found it in my backpack this morning." Lucky, right? I stared at him. "Can I see the phone?" "What? Why?" "Just curious. Want to make sure it's not tracking the wrong device." He closed the door slightly more. "I'm kinda busy, man." I nodded. "Cool. I'll give the landlord your number since he's asking about rent." His eyes darted. "Wait, no, don't. I'll sort it out." That night, I messaged a mutual friend, a guy who'd gone to school with Tyler. Turns out, Tyler had a reputation for forgetting to pay people back and ghosting roommates after lease agreements. This wasn't the first time. I was furious. But instead of confronting him, I decided to play the long game. The next morning, I told Tyler I was leaving for the weekend to visit family. He nodded, barely looking up from his laptop. I didn't leave. I waited. Around 7 p.m., I heard the door open. I peeked out my room and saw Tyler leaving, wearing a hoodie, bag slung over his shoulder. 10 minutes later, I snuck into his room. And there it was. His stolen phone charging on his desk. His wallet on the dresser. A Starbucks apron folded neatly on a chair. I took pictures of everything. Then I emailed the landlord. The next day, I got a response from him. Apparently, Tyler hadn't paid his share of utilities for 3 months, and this was the second complaint he'd gotten from a roommate about financial dishonesty. The landlord sent him a formal notice. "Pay your half in 7 days or vacate the property." Tyler came home that night like nothing had happened. When I told him about the notice, he acted shocked. "This is so messed up. Man, you could have talked to me." I didn't even flinch. "I did. For 2 weeks straight. You lied to my face. Enjoy the countdown." He moved out 5 days later. No apology. No explanation. Just left his key on the counter and blocked me on everything. I later found out through a friend that he tried pulling the same scam at a different apartment and got kicked out again within a month. As for me, I got a new roommate. A quiet grad student who pays rent on time and doesn't fake crimes to dodge bills. Lesson learned. Sometimes your biggest headache comes with a spare key.